Good morning, my friends. Welcome to Keswick Chapel. That's you. I'm Pastor Robert. This is day 3 of week 37. The way of Jesus is the way of hospitality is our topic this week. Luke chapter 10, verses 38 through 42 is our passage. I encourage you to go read that chapter. Hospitality in the Bible is primarily about welcoming strangers. It's about welcoming each other as well. And Jesus is very clear about who we should invite to dine with us. And he tells us why. Let me know what you're thinking about the passage from Luke chapter 14, verses 12 through 14. I'm curious to know what you think about how we can navigate strangers in our society today. There's another quote from Pohl that I want to share with you this morning. Quote, "Our contemporary situation is surprisingly similar to the world that existed in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd centuries. We, like the early church, find ourselves in a fragmented and multicultural society that yearns for relationship, identity, and meaning. Our mobile and self-oriented society is characterized by disturbing levels of disturbing levels of loneliness, alienation, and estrangement. In a culture that appears at times to be overly hostile to life itself, the church can be a powerful witness. People are hungry for welcome, but most Christians have lost track of the heritage of hospitality. Make room." I just finished a class in world history in ancient and medieval times. And I can tell you from my study of the church in the first 3 centuries, it is very similar to what we're going through today. They lived in a hostile environment. It was dynamic, and they were constantly having to exercise how to understand the culture that they lived in and how they fit into it and how they were to navigate that as Christians, following the way, following Jesus. Sounds a lot like the society that we find ourselves living in today. Rodney Stark wrote, "Social networks are the basic mechanism through which conversion takes place. Conversion primarily takes place in the context of close and trusting friendship." Don't lose that. Paul's letters to the various congregations all testify to the centrality of friendship and social networks for authentic conversion to Christianity to take place, the cities of God. Now, think about the context of social networks for Paul's time, and let's look at it in today's context. Mr. Stark and Paul are not speaking about Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or any of the other social platforms that are available today to us on the internet. These platforms allow us to reach out to friends that we haven't seen in years, to come in contact with other people in our own cities and neighborhoods and counties. But these platforms only provide a snippet of life. And as many people know, the snippet that you see on these social media platforms are not necessarily a direct reflection of what is going on in our life today. The only way that we can develop friendships is to be involved with one another, to understand that to develop a friendship takes time and effort on my part and yours. So we're not talking about the social media platforms that are available today. We're talking about social networks that involve you and I getting together, having conversations with one another, understanding what's going on in one another's lives in order to help one another, in order to better understand one another, and developing a friendship that endures and is made out of love and grace towards one another. So where do we start? We start with desire. our desire to be a safe person for others, offering peace, grace, shelter, and the presence of Jesus. In Romans chapter 15, verse 7, Paul says this, "Accept one another then, just as Christ accepted you, in order to bring praise to God." Paul's telling us that we are to extend Jesus to others. We're to make room. I want to encourage you to go back and read the passages from yesterday's Choose, specifically Genesis chapter 18, verses 2 through 8, and Leviticus chapter 19, verse 34. We're to be hospitable. We're to offer the shelter of grace, love, and peace. Make room. I've asked you 3 questions this week every day, and I'm going to ask you again today. What are some of the fears that we have associated with welcoming strangers? How do we navigate that? What simple acts of welcoming can you extend today to someone else? We know that hospitality is the way of Jesus. Which way are you choosing? Which way am I choosing? Are we choosing the way of Jesus, or are we choosing our own way? I pray as you chew on this today that you'll ask the Holy Spirit, you'll invite the Holy Spirit to help you to have eyes to see and ears to hear God's truth from His Word. Read these passages, chew on them. Ask the Holy Spirit to help you have a receptive heart and mind to these truths. And then have the courage and boldness of Christ to take the steps that you need to take in your life to change direction, to become more hospitable. We're going to pick this up again tomorrow with some more passages and some more quotes. I pray you'll have a wonderful day, my friends. Go in the peace of God. Blessings to you. Bye for now.